This is the Big 12 now on ESPN Plus. NCAA women's basketball in a Saturday matinee special. A couple of 7-2 teams squaring off from the Marriott Center in Provo. It's Boise State out of the Mountain West taking on BYU representing the Big 12. Lights off for the starting lineups. Wherever and however you're connected, great to have you with us alongside the always fabulous Kristen Kozlowski. I'm Spencer Linton. Now this is a unique matchup for a number of reasons. Not only do you have the regional rivalry ties, Chris, we're talking about one team that features the nation's leading rebounder, and the other team has the number 2 shot blocker in the nation as well. So we're going to see some real strength and defensive prowess from both of these teams.
Two teams very good in their interior with the rebounding and the blocks, as you mentioned, Spencer. They shoot the 3-ball well as well. Top 6 in the nation in 3-point field goal percent. This is going to be an exciting one. The matchup is so fun because it's so similar.
Players to watch. We begin on the Boise State side, and we'll do so with the aforementioned shot blocker, Abby Muse, who utilizes her length in the post to cause opposing offenses a ton of havoc.
At 6'3", she's long, athletic, a true post player for the Broncos. She was the Mountain West Conference Defensive Player of the Year a season ago. Really dictates the defense for this Broncos team. Excellent in their timing and rotation inside.
And on the BYU side, Lauren Gustin, the queen of rebounding in college basketball last year and so far this year. But while we put so much emphasis on her rebounding, she's a very complete player, Kristen.
She's scoring the basketball at a high rate, very efficient inside for this BYU team. 6 20-20 games where she's put up at least 20 points, pulled down 20 rebounds. This is a player that's playing very consistent right now. It's going to be interesting how Boise State tries to slow her down inside.
Well, BYU could certainly use a big game from Lauren Gustin because they're going to be without a key piece, not just today, but the remainder of the season. For more on that, we join the third member of our broadcast team today, Brett Hammer.
Amber Whiting told me this week that returning all-conference guard Nani Falatea is no longer with the program, and they will be without her all season, meaning they'll rely more heavily on Kaylee Wilson and Amari Whiting. And Amber Whiting is really excited. She said they are each other's best strengths because when Amari is going to drive, if they try to stop her, she'll kick it to Wilson, and Wilson will drill it. Spencer?
Thank you, Brett. And that has been quite literally the case for most of the games this season, is Kaylee Wilson taking and making the shot. 55% shooter from the 3-point line. Coming off her worst shooting performance in BYU's win against Utah State earlier this week. And so, for the first time, she's having to check her confidence because the first 7 games were off the charts good for Woolston and BYU. Opening tip between the Broncos and Cougars. It is won by Abby Muse, and Boise State in their road blues with the orange trim will control BYU in their new ice gray uniforms with the royal blue trim.
BYU's Emma Calvert, 6'4", gets the start in this one. A better matchup inside. And Coach Whiting wants to utilize the size in this game, particularly with this Boise State team that plays the 2 true posts.
There is an early rebound for Emma Calvert. BYU looking for the first points of the game. Woolston trying to work around the screen from Gustin. Not much there. Now Kaylee Smiler cycles to Whiting. They want Gustin inside and have it. Here's the double team with Muse. Gustin in some trouble, steps through the double team to find Wilson. 3 on the shot clock. Smiler with 2 and 1 has to force up a shot. And this is off to the right side. Good defensive stop by Boise State.
And that double team very effective, pushing them all the way to that short corner, and Gustin really didn't have an outlet to kick it to.
Shot is missed by Trista Hull as you look at the Boise State starting 5 on your screen right now. Abby Muse is the player to watch. That ball is knocked out of bounds. No, it is off of Amari Whiting, and an early turnover by BYU gifts the ball back to the Broncos.
BYU young in their backcourt with Coach Whiting's daughter, Amari Whiting, running the show at the point guard position, and Kaylee Wilson, also a true freshman, 6th in the country in 3-point field goal percent. That's off that game that you mentioned where she really didn't shoot the ball well like we've seen all season. She was just 1 for 4 from distance against Utah State.
Here is Trista Hull holding. Gives back to Maya Hansen. Hansen, that left elbow, Abby Muse. It's a backdoor cut. And that ball is thrown back out near half court. Hull. The handoff to Naro. Back to Hull with 6 on the shot clock. Short corner right. That shot misses everything, and Emma Calvert shields off Muse for another rebound.
A couple rebounds early for Calvert, utilizing that size in the box out, and it's so effective to have her in there with Gustin. They've really developed that chemistry as well to play together inside.
Gustin, 21 points, 21 rebounds in that win over Utah State. Whiting terminated her dribble, now has to go to Calvert. Again, under 10 seconds on the shot clock. Boise State making BYU work for everything. Gustin there, trying to beat the double team. The quick fire shot is a little too shallow off the glass, and another stop for the Broncos.
Trista Hull, 6'2", Abby Muse, 6'3". They're going to try to utilize their length and make Gustin score over them, and there's Hull. Big time shot. This is exactly what the Broncos need, is more offense out of their post in this game. They really only have one player that averages double figures, but they need an inside presence.
The double team effective there as the lob pass is cut out on the inside, and in transition, Boise State gives it back on a BYU steal. Woolston in transition will step into a three, and I say the confidence is back for Kaylee Woolston. The Cougars up by 1.
Coach Whiting told us that she called her short after that game against Utah State and said, hey, we're not going to think about those missed shots. We want you to continue to shoot. We need you to shoot. We need your three-point presence out there on the court.
Here's Natalie Pasco. Pasco has her shot blocked out of bounds, and it's Kaylee Smiler. If you've never seen Kaylee Smiler play basketball, you should know that while she is undersized, she is a defensive pest and blocks a lot of shots, as we take a look at Woolston's three going.
And really just kind of lulled Maya Hansen to sleep. But as you mentioned, Kaylee Smiler, she's only got 10 blocks on the season, make that 11 on the last one. But right there, the little sweet spot again for Boise State. And there's Pasco, as we mentioned, just the only player averaging double figures coming into this game. She averages just over 14 points per game.
Mari Whiting to Woolston. Cougars rework their spacing on the floor. There's the lob pass, too strong from Smiler, but it's knocked out of bounds as Maya Hansen was coming over on the weak side.
That rotation has to be there for Coach Gordy Presnell. It's so crucial to what they do to slow Gustin down and make sure that they can't get that lob pass inside that BYU loves to do.
Coach Presnell in his 19th season, 341 victories. Woolston spinning on the baseline. Leaves the layup short. A great move, just didn't finish. And Lauren Gustin can't secure the offensive rebound, knocks it out of bounds. It's Boise State basketball. 6:19 to play in the first quarter. Broncos with a 4-3 lead. As you take a look at the nation's leading rebounder, there's Amber Whiting, the head coach of BYU in her second season. And 23-19 overall, thanks to a 7-2 start, just like the Broncos had this season. 7 wins and 2 losses. Little hook shot pass back to Muse. And a good play by Natalie Pasco, who earns the assist to hit Abby Muse.
Well, they're executing beautifully right there, just under the free throw line in the sweet spot in the middle of the key. What a pass from Emma Calvert. That had to be quick, and it had to be right on the bottom of the backboard corner so she could go and get that. Beautiful job from Calvert.
Had an assist to Emma Calvert's stat line early in this game. 6-5, Broncos still in front by 1. Naro. It's hard off the glass. Muse tried to tap the rebound out, but it ends up in the hands of Smiler and BYU. Woolston has a lane, and she finds it. Kaylee Woolston, little head shoulder fake out on the arc. And almost a clear path to the hoop for the layup, 7-6 BYU.
Yeah, she's so tough to guard because of her ability to knock down at a high rate on the outside, but then also put the ball on the floor as we saw there and get to the rim.
Trista Hull hits the deck trying to set a screen. Amari Whiting ran through it and is going to be charged with a personal foul.
You see running her off the three, and then 2 defenders just allowing her to get right to the rim. That's not going to make Gordy Presnell happy. When you're getting back transition D, you got to stop in the paint and make sure that you're protecting the paint first.
Pasco, the floater, is left short. Smiler with the rebound ahead to Woolston. Gustin running the floor, corrals the pass, and gets the friendly bounce. Lauren Gustin rewarded for her hustle down the floor.
She loves the lob, but she also loves to run rim to rim and outwork you in transition.
Muse, good move around Emma Calvert. Size on size right there, and Muse with the advantage.
Showcasing some of that ball handling skills, and she'll have that advantage if she can be calm and keep her body control. It's a nice move from Smiler, going against a bigger Muse in size.
Well, that's something that Coach Presnell and his staff talked about, is trying to stay on our feet. We can't bite on every ball fake, and Smiler misses the layup, but that's something that the Broncos have really tried to emphasize this week, is stay down on your feet, don't jump at everything.
And last meeting a season ago, they did jump at everything. And that's how Augustine got 24 points and 17 rebounds. He said they were jumping way too much.
Calvert with another rebound off the long jumper miss from Hull. BYU in front by one, just over 6 minutes into the game. Skip pass from Smiler to Lauren Davenport, who's into the game for the first time. And what a beautiful bounce pass in a tight space in the lane to find Gustin for another 2. 6 points for Lauren Gustin.
BYU's assisted 4 out of their 5 made field goals. It's the ball movement, getting easier looks at the basket.
Some recovery defense knocks the ball out of the hands of Danny Baez. There's Gustin from Davenport to Calvert. 15-foot jumper from the right corner is no good, and the Broncos look to now cut into a 3-point BYU lead. Hull hits the floor once again. She's been battling early, setting screens, and this time tangled up with Emma Calvert, who draws the foul.
Calvert, a little bit of a swim move to try and get position on the 3-quarter defensively and just pushed her to the ground. This is where Calvert has to be careful. She can't afford to get in foul trouble. Her and Gustin, they are short on depth in terms of the post.
Another look at Davenport's assist to Gustin. We'll be back with more NCAA women's basketball on the Big 12 now, right after this. Expected, and at the start of this game is any indication, we're in for a great basketball game between these two squads. 11-8 BYU, 3:17 to play, and let's check in with our sideline reporter Brett Hammer.
In talking with Boise State staff this week, one of the things they noticed watching the Utah State game is how aggressive this BYU team is, and they told me they want to use that aggression against them, and you noticed that in those 2 fouls there in the first quarter.
Certainly aggressive is a good word for that, as Bays misfires on an airball 3-pointer. So BYU with the 3-point lead and the basketball. They go right to Gustin. He went to the glass against that Boise State defense and unable to score.
Elodie Lalott in the game, 6'2", also big presence inside, and so she's going to have that task when she comes in to be physical with Gustin in there.
And an offensive foul called on Boise State.
Alyssa Christensen moving on the screen. This Boise State team has some good size. I mean, multiple players over 6'2" in there. The coaches for Boise State tell us that, as we mentioned those fouls, that they really want to make Gustin pay. She plays 35 minutes a game and try to get her in some foul trouble early. She does not have a foul yet in this game. She's very good moving her body, good body control.
Turnover by Whiting. Now grants Boise State possession and a chance again to cut into the BYU lead. Lalott working on Gustin. Good position. And she's too strong off the glass. Rebounded by Davenport. Whiting. Cross-court pass to Smiler. Gustin is left wide open in transition, but she can't finish the layup. Opportunity missed for BYU. And a little bit of a frustrating sequence for Gustin, who did everything right except make the money.
Lauren Gustin is a player that was recruited by Coach Gordy Presnell. She was on campus. He never did offer her a scholarship, which is crazy that he says now is a bit of a regret for him, because didn't know how good she was going to be at the time. And most coaches thought she was a little undersized at 6'1" coming out of high school. Just a tremendous player in what she's able to do. And a big part of what Gustin does, she's a workhorse. She never takes a play off, understands angles, understands where that ball is going to come off the rim. And against Boise State last year, she had 24 points, 17 rebounds. Something I'm sure this Boise State team wants to eliminate and reduce those numbers in this one.
3 is up and perfect from Maya Hansen.
Well, Hansen, a player for the Broncos, had 31 against BYU last year. Unfortunately, after that, soon after, injured her PCL.
Gustin. Good pump fake. Lalott bought it and fouled Gustin, trying to recover. As we take one more look at the deep three from Hanson.
Hanson, very capable three-point shooter. She's averaging 50% from distance coming in. As we mentioned, that 31 points a season ago. The freshman class that Coach Presnell had last year, now sophomores, much more mature, but they got a lot of playing time last year. And he had said numerous times, we did not finish preseason how we needed to get ourselves into postseason play. It did not pay off when they couldn't win some close games in preseason. They've done a much better job here in this preseason, but they got to take care of games to help themselves when it comes to postseason play.
Lauren Gustin makes both free throws, and that's a good sign for her. Just a 44% free throw shooter coming into today's game. Really struggled from the charity stripe in BYU's win over Utah State. Hanson, to a backdoor cut, but that rims out. Woolston will push for BYU, has Whiting to her right. Whiting bounces inside to Rose Bubakar. Bubakar wanted contact and a foul. Does not get it as Alyssa Christensen was defending. Hanson.
Danny Bays going down on that contact as well. The official has no doubt been calling it consistent and allowing the physicality to play on. When you're a player, you love to be able to play through that physicality.
Bays got the angle. Beat the defense down the baseline and scores it off the glass. 13 all, 30 seconds to play in the first quarter.
Bays, one of those sophomores that as a freshman last year, she started 30 of 31 games, so got a lot of experience and growth.
Davenport with the spin and score. Lauren Davenport making an impact off the bench for Amber Whiting's squad.
Excellent footwork and a good reach. She just had a one-on-one opportunity, a little bit of an isolation.
Whiting nearly had the steal on Maya Hanson. Offensive rebound, the putback no good, and Emma Calvert will add another rebound to her first quarter stat line. BYU will take a 2-point lead out of the first frame, 15-13. It's a Mountain West Big 12 showdown. Regional rivals collide as we continue our Saturday NCAA Women's Basketball Showcase. This is the Big 12 now on ESPN+. We're back after this. BYU basketball to begin. As you look at Lauren Gustin, 8 points in the first quarter. And I say only 2 rebounds. After going 21-21 against Utah State, she averages almost 17 boards a game.
I'll give a lot of credit to Boise State in executing, making sure they mark her when that shot goes up, putting body on her, and they're throwing a couple different players at her. That's a big-time shot.
Kaylee Smiler knocks down a 3. The second three-point make for the Cougars.
Smiler averages 54% from distance. Her and Woolston, the top 3-point shooters for this BYU team.
Calvert secures her 5th rebound already. Gustin again running the floor, and that's been problematic for Boise State. Transition defense, as Gustin has now beaten them down the floor for a 3rd time. She's made 2 layups there, and she's already in the double-figure scoring.
Big advantage on the break because she's such a workhorse. She runs rim to rim, and BYU passes the ball well, keeps their head up to find her.
Hughes, the putback, and a good follow by Abby Hughes as she draws a trip to the free throw line for 2 shots. And the first free throws attempted by Boise State in today's game. Kaylee Smiler knocking down a 3. And Smiler is a player that, these are the words of Coach Amber Whiting, quote, "I don't ever have to worry about her playing hard. As a coach, that's really nice. I don't ever need to coach her effort or energy or buy-in. She's all in."
She is the glue player for this BYU team, the unsung hero in my mind, where she's not talked about enough for what she does defensively and how disruptive she is, always guarding the toughest offensive assignment. And it works, right? I mean, you've got the elite shooter in Woolston, you got the inside presence with Gustin and Calvert, and Smiler just does all that dirty work.
Whiting's 3, no good. And rebounded by Tatum Thompson. There's Mary Kay Nara. Pass deflected from Bays, but it ends up in the hands of Thompson. Now a handoff. Lucy Lavrovich. And Thompson will step into a three. That misses off the front of the rim. Whiting ahead to Smiler. Calvert straight away.
This Boise State team, really good three-point shooting team, and I thought early they did a good job in that first quarter frame to get to the rim on the back cuts or off the dribble penetration. Can't shy away from that.
Calvert does a good job to keep that off the deflected pass. Gustin. Well, it wasn't the prettiest offensive set for BYU. Passes deflected, all types of hands in there. But Gustin still scores, and she's got 12 points.
Bit of a hot potato possession for BYU, but Gustin finally lands into her hands somehow, and she strong wills that up on the glass.
And Hughes fires that pass over the head of Naro and out of bounds. And Coach Parsonell is really upset after that turnover as the frustration mounts for Boise State. BYU has pushed their lead up to 8. 7:45 to play in the second quarter. We're back with more NCAA Women's Hoops after this. Star out of Viewmont High School, started her college career at Boise State, and then transferred to BYU. You've played on both sides of this matchup.
Sides. Can you believe that? And that is an old school photo. Only black and white back then. Hey,
it wasn't that long ago.
I was a Bronco and I was a Cougar. I loved my time at Boise State and just enjoyed every minute of it. And it just worked out better to be back here at BYU with Coach Judkins. And so I did both. A lot of respect for both of these programs. And it's a really fun matchup just because obviously the territory and just some of the rivalry matchups we had in the past, but two very similar teams, and we're seeing it on the stats as you go down the stats. Other than BYU shooting at a higher clip percentage-wise, very similar in rebounding, very similar what we've done with assists and turnovers in the game so far.
Woolston on the skip pass, and that is perfect. Second three of the game for Kaylee Woolston. She's got 8 points. BYU shooting 53% as a team overall on 10 of 19 from the field now. 3 of 4 from beyond the arc. 25-14. Cougars have exploded here in the second quarter.
10-1 advantage here in the second frame. And BYU comes in with two clear advantages. One, Lauren Gustin. Number two, they have a lot of offensive threats on the outside.
A great move by Naro to get to the hoop, and she just left the layup short.
We've seen a couple of those where they just have missed some of those bunnies around the rim, but big time block there from Tatum Thompson, using her athleticism.
This is the double whammy. You get the block shot, and it goes off of BYU. Those are the most disrespectful type of blocks.
Coaching staff feels like she may be one of the most talented athletic players that they have on this squad, and just understanding that her role. The 6'1" sophomore comes up with a big defensive play.
Good pass from Thompson as well. How about that last 30 seconds for Tatum Thompson? Picks up the assist. And the Broncos have a propensity for making you pay on those backdoor cuts.
We've seen that several times in the half court where they run that backdoor. BYU's going to overplay.
Emma Calvert keeping that pass high and scoring it off the glass on the pass from Woolston. Transition opportunity, and Thompson is fouled. She'll go to the free throw line. So Boise State taking a page out of BYU's book in today's game and how the Cougars play, and they get out on the break after a main hoop.
Well, a much better response out of the timeout at getting back to what was successful in the first quarter at cutting to the rim. BYU, they're successful at this lob pass, at throwing it inside, that high-low look, or from the wing inside to Calvert and Gustin. They work on it every day in practice on that connection.
Thompson makes the first free throw, the sophomore out of Woodinville, Washington. 6'1" guard will have one more to bring the Broncos within single digits, and she knocks it down. So it's a 9-point BYU advantage as we approach the midway part of the second quarter. Smiler gives to Bubakar and cycle to Woolston. Now corner for Davenport, who will dribble back out front towards Smiler. Again, Woolston working on Naro. Gustin back into the game with a handoff to Woolston. 12 seconds on the shot clock. Woolston spinning. One-footed jumper is rebounded by Gustin. And Gustin will kick it back out to Davenport for three. That's just long, and the rebound is secured by Mary Kay Naro, the senior out of Beaverton, Oregon, quickly into the front court as Maya Hansen. Hansen off the screen for Thompson. We'll go back to Tatum. Tatum's jumper is short, and Gustin now has a couple of quick rebounds.
BYU's done a really good job on the defensive glass of just limiting Boise State to one and done. They do have 3 offensive boards, but haven't done much with it.
Travel is called on Kaylee Smiler. She started her movement before she put that ball on the floor. So a turnover by BYU. Look at Lauren Gustin's career rebounding numbers, 1,327 coming into the game. We anticipate she's going to be top 5 all time in the history of women's basketball when she is done at BYU.
She's got 5 rebounds in this game. It just continues to exceed expectations because she set such high expectations for herself.
Rose Bubakar's 3 is too long, and the rebound is fought away by Maya Hansen. Boise State, after Lavrovich scored the last time down the floor for the Broncos, looking for consecutive successful trips. It's 27-20. BYU got out to an 11-point lead, and Thompson again wanted the backdoor cut for Naro. But Naro slipped, and that ball is thrown out of bounds. 5th turnover by the Broncos. Oh, look like she got tripped up.
And maybe on the foot of Woolston. She was trying to cut back door, and we've seen them do that several times. If BYU's going to overplay those passing lanes on the wing, they're looking for that backdoor cut.
Gustin hands off to Davenport. Dribble to her left. Bubakar rolling after the screen, no good. Gustin with the offensive rebound has her shot swatted away by Hull, and Whiting and Hull collide. They're going to call Trista Hull for the loose ball foul. Great effort by Hull there, and it's almost unfortunate that it had to end in a foul line.
Both players shaking up on it. Trista Hull a little bit more than Amari Whiting, and that's just a stinger right to the face. See Hull still trying to gather and collect herself.
Block shot on Gustin, and you see him just collide head right in. Oh!
It's just an effort play. It's the hardest part of the head right there, just right above the eye.
A hole being attended to on the end of her bench. Making sure there's no cuts. And certainly with concussion protocols in place and how high alert sports are in general to the matter, as they should be, and are taking a closer look. Whiting steps back into a long 2. That ends a little bit of a scoring drought for BYU. It's 29-20.
Amari Whiting, just her first basket of the game, coming off that career high 19 points against Utah State just this week. And it's such a benefit for Coach Whiting to have her out there as her daughter, obviously, but just to have the scoring power that it can be anybody's night on any given day.
Davenport left open for 3 in the left corner, and that rims off. Abby Muse fights away the rebound.
Muse with 4 rebounds now to go with 5 points. And she's going to have an entire game where she has to work on the boards against Gustin.
Muse inside around Gustin, and that'll help the shooting percentage, which has been subpar for the Broncos. 31% before that make.
And they're just 1 for 7 from distance. This is a team that comes in, shoots the 3-ball well, but haven't had any success on the outside. They're 4th in the country in 3-point field goal percentage. You see an offensive foul.
Davenport pushing off. Utah Jazz fans around the country are saying, that's what Michael Jordan did in the NBA Finals.
Oh, and that's a clear foul. You can see that arm extension. That's easy for the officials to recognize, call, especially with Naro kind of falling back as a defender. And Mary Kay Naro comes from a long line of talented basketball players. And her grandpa, Rick Edelman, was the longtime coach, Hall of Famer in the NBA for the Portland Trailblazers.
The Trailblazer fans know about frustrations with Michael Jordan as well. Kaylee Smiler. Back to Bubakar. Whiting looking around. Bubakar on the screen. Goes at Naro and is fouled on the layup.
Mary Whiting, 5'10". Hard to believe that she is a true freshman in the role that she's played so far at BYU's early preseason success and her ability to create off the bounce, her shot as well as shots for her teammates. That's what makes her such a dynamic player and what BYU's trying to do. Last year BYU had shooters, don't get me wrong, but this year several shooters on the outside, and it just opens up the lane for Whiting in there as we see Trista Bull come back in. It's a good sign for the Broncos to see her out there, number 22 underneath.
No doubt about it. Good to have Trista back on the floor as Whiting is long on the first free throw and no good. Second one is good. 3 points for Amari Whiting. BYU leads by 8 at 30-22 as we near halftime. Hughes has her shot blocked by Emma Calvert, and Calvert gets bumped into by Hull. It'll stay Boise State basketball as Calvert is ruled the last to touch it.
Watch Calvert right here. She's a leading block inside for BYU. Hughes on the other side of the block. She goes right back at Calvert. A lot of fire and competitiveness in her. She wanted that ball to go right at Calvert again.
Abby Hughes now with 9 points. Calvert inside. Emma Calvert, in many ways, Kristen, has been BYU's best overall player in this game, both offensively and defensively today.
Just the improvement we've seen in her the last couple games. The last 4 games, she's averaging 14 points per game. And continues to be efficient around the rim at 62% coming in.
What a point, 6 rebounds, 2 assists.
What a fun matchup inside with her and Hughes.
Good step through. And are they going to count the bucket?
And that's going to go against Whiting. That will be her second foul as she reached in.
So an and one opportunity from Hughes. She went to the step through move to score it and earn a trip to the free throw line.
Huge emphasis on what Abby Hughes does offensively in this game, coming in, because she's typically just known for her defense. She'll put some points on the board, but she only averages 7 points per game, and they need more offensive output from their post players, particularly Hughes and Hull inside, and you can tell that she is more committed to be that player on the offensive side and anchor inside.
Free throws missed. Boubacar is bumped and fouled by Hughes. That's her first personal. And the 4th team foul on Boise State in the quarter.
Hughes got 11 points already to lead her team. Here's a look, just too much contact. You see that arm underneath and then the leaning on Rose Boubacar.
Lob for Calvert. He gives quickly to Boubacar. They'll go to Smiler, setting up for 3 in the right corner. And Kaylee Smiler having her own big impact in this game for BYU. She's got 6 points, both from 3-point makes, as well as 3 assists and a couple of rebounds, and BYU's lead is back out to 9. There's rebound number 7 for Calvert.
Calvert playing some big minutes with Gustin, 2 personal fouls on the bench.
Calvert fakes the 3. Settled for the long 2, and that's no good. Rebounded by Hughes. Her 5th board to go along with 11 points. About a 7-second differential between the game clock and the shot clock. Hull hands off for Jada Clark. Here's Maya Hansen. Bouncing inside, and another steal by Calvert. Boise State wanted Hughes, and Calvert cut it out. Kaylee Smiler with 7 and 6. Now to Woolston with 5 and 4. 3-2 Woolston. Layup inside is good. The finger roll to beat the halftime buzzer. 30